Vanessa Redgrave was just a few hours old when she received her first round of applause from an audience. Her birth was announced from the stage on which her father, Michael Redgrave, was appearing. As her mother, Rachel Kempson, was also an actress, it was perhaps inevitable that she would join the family business. Followed by her sister Lynn, brother Corin, and daughters Jolie and Natasha Richardson. Vanessa's award-winning acting, Shakespeare and Chekhov on stage, movies including Julia and Blow Up, has often been overshadowed by activism as a member of Marxist revolutionary groups in the 60s and 70s. But respect for her professional achievements and deep sympathy following Natasha Richardson's death last year after a skiing accident were reflected in the recent award of a BAFTA Fellowship for Lifetime Achievement.
Oh dear, I'm afraid you've done me in. I learned here in this house a great lesson from Maria Callas. She said that you had to put the truth of your feelings and your thoughts first, and the sound of your voice would and could come after.
And the grief has recently increased. In the weeks after this interview, Vanessa's brother Corin and sister Lynn both died. Almost 50 years ago, in a letter to your father you quote in your memoirs, you wrote, "I want to act as well and continuously as possible all my life, no holds barred." Was that youthful fervour, or have you retained that level of commitment to it?
I'm very lucky I have. Peggy Ashcroft gave me a lift home from Stratford one season, and she was that kind of lady and that kind of fellow actress, and also great friends with my mum, also an actress. And she said, "I hope you'll never find, but I fear you may, that when you reach later age, you won't feel as passionate about acting." And I realised that she was in part talking about herself, which is quite incredible to me, having seen, up to her very last work in Passage to India. You'd never know. But I'm lucky I have.
You're famously part of an acting dynasty, as you mentioned there, your mother an actress, your father an actor. Did that mean it was always inevitable that you would act?
I prefer the word family than dynasty. We go back, the first actress, and tracing all the highways and byways of illegitimates and bigamous marriages and non-marriages and all those things, go back to Dolly Ellsworthy in about 1854. That's the first record of an actress or actor.
We're very aware of genetics now, but the fact that there have been so many actors in your family, is it just example and encouragement, or are there skills or qualities that can be inherited?
Well, it's always an interesting question. Scientists stress that it's the combination of DNA and RNA, what you're genetically born with, but what gets input during the development process. And they insist, and I'm sure they're right, that it's the two, because if I'd been born of my parents, but brought up by, I don't know, fishing family or a farming family in Northumbria or something like that, I probably certainly wouldn't have become an actress. The environment itself, and the family itself, and if you're a child, you get involved in, at least now and then, seeing the work that your parents do and get fascinated by it. At least I did.
So the combination of the two, the DNA elements, there's strong faces, strong voices, I see in your family right down, but those are things that are useful to have.
No, they're training. I mean, genetics, of course, involves the size of your rib cage and the breadth of your shoulders and the width of your neck, but that's training. I had a lot of training, thanks to my father.
I interviewed David Dimbleby recently, who's, part of a broadcasting dynasty, and he said
Family.
Part of a broadcasting family. And he said that when he looks now back from his 70s, he's slightly uneasy that he never...
He's 70?
He's 70,
yeah. We're contemporaries.
You're contemporaries.
Okay.
But he said he's slightly uneasy that he never made any decisions. He thinks it was almost predestined that he would be a broadcaster, and he now begins to wonder, should I have made decisions? Should I have done other things? Have you ever thought that?
No, I knew very young that I wanted to dance. That was my prime objective in life, until I realised that I was still growing and 5'8" and hadn't got a chance. Certainly not in England then, at that time, because there was no modern dance. So unless I'd gone to the States, where might have been a different story, I was potentially a very good dancer, but I wanted to be a classical dancer. And then at one point I kind of realised that if I'd been anything else, I would have been a teacher. But, you do what you're born to do. I was told very early on, and later on in my life, that I had a gift. And I kind of resisted that idea. But then a contemporary of mine, when we were very young, and she was understudying me in a play in London, and we got on awfully well, and she was a singer, training to sing while understudying. And one day we went to her bedsit to hear her, and she just got up and sang without any, I don't know if I can, and I'll forget the words and things that actresses usually do. She just got up and she sang. And I said, "But it's so wonderful, you just get up and you sing. There's no hesitation, nothing." She said, "No, because it's a gift I was born with." So that helped me see that, okay, you're born with a gift, and whether you develop that gift and really work on it or not is partly up to finance, partly up to encouragement, and partly up to what gets born in yourself, a desire to develop.
There's a certain kind of production you've been able to do to an unusual degree as a family. For example, in Weatherby, you and Jolie play mother and daughter, so it has a resonance.
No. Jolie played me
Sorry,
as young.
it's not. Yes, she plays the young you of the same character. Sorry, that's my fault. Yeah,
it's okay.
But we have a sense of the connection between the characters we wouldn't normally have.
Yes,
There's been a Chekhov's
right.
Three Sisters in which the characters were really related. But there must be a certain pleasure in doing that, because not many actors can do that.
In the case of me and Jolie in Weatherby, that was David Hare. That was brilliant. We read a face, we look into a face, and into that face all sorts of things we claim to read. Mary here. Or John here. John's got a sly face. He has got a sly face. He's got sly features. Is John a sly boy?
He's sly, all right.
Right. And I thought Jolie was fantastic. And of course we never met because she was playing the young character that I was playing.
Although you never
I've
met
acted with Natasha in The Seagull, and we only had a few moments on stage together. But that was wonderful watching her work and being in the same production. And in fact, a film called Evening, which came out in, I think it was 2007. Yes, it was 2007. That Tasha and I did with a wonderful Hungarian director called Lajos Koltai, with Meryl Streep and Glenn Close and Claire Danes and a lot of lovely people. Tasha and I had such fun because we were just working together with a director we absolutely loved. And I was playing mother, and she was playing my daughter. Of course, it's impossible to judge being the mother. Well, only the producers and the director can decide, was there something specially extra there? And maybe there was.
Mom? Mom.
Hello?
Hi, Mom. She keeps saying, where's Harris? Who's Harris, Mom?
Harris was my first mistake. Do you remember your first mistake, honey?
Shh.
Mom, you were dreaming, that's all. Your first mistake is like your first kiss. You never forget it.
Shh, just rest now, okay?
Yeah, we did, Lynn and I did the Three Sisters together. With Gemma, our niece, my brother's daughter. And we loved working together. I've no idea how audiences felt because it's such a fantastic play and wonderful production by the Georgian director, Robert Struer. Brilliant production. On the other hand, Gemma's husband saw us in Guildford and was sitting behind a couple, and the lady said to her husband, "Oh, it's just like life." And he said, "I should hope not." So, you can never tell how people will react.
Because of having a brother and a sister who act, have you been, I mean, it's clear from your memoirs that you're close to them, but have you been competitive as performers?
Oh, no. Good Lord, no. I mean, you might... I think a lot of people think actors are very competitive. I think we're probably the least competitive of people. If by competitive you are referring to against somebody else, whether you're related to them or not. Of course, it's the nature of our profession that we are auditioned on a stage, along with hundreds of others probably, go into offices, are looked up and down and sent out again, having not had the chance to even open our mouths, or go before a film camera for a test. I mean, that's the nature of our profession. Personally, well, I'll give you an example. Both Lynn and I auditioned for Hal Prince for the first production of Cabaret in London. And I only passed round one. I mean, I didn't pass round one. I got into round one and promptly never heard a word again. Lynn got to round one and a lunch with Hal Prince, but Judi Dench got the role. And Judi was fantastic in it. So I wouldn't have felt bad if Lynn had have got it. I would have wished I'd got it, but I wouldn't have felt bad if Lynn had got it, and I certainly didn't feel bad that Judi got it, because Judy's a fantastic actress, was then, is now, and was extraordinary in Cabaret at the time. And I think generally we actors and actresses are like that. As long as someone's good in what we don't get, they've just got to be good.
But if they're bad, it's obviously difficult.
Yeah, but that doesn't happen so often.
You mentioned Peggy Ashcroft becoming dissatisfied, really, with acting, or suggesting that you might. And
She lost her passion.
Yeah. She lost her passion. There are many...
Which is different.
Well, but there are many stories of actors who that happens to. Brian Cox, who I interviewed for this series, he had a long period in which he decided that acting was not a proper job for a grown-up, and he really shouldn't be doing that. And you hear that a lot, but you've never had one of those spells.
I don't think so, not in that direct sense. There have been times when I've chosen to do something else rather than act for a period because I felt that was what I needed to do.